Hello everybody. Wanted to show you what I was thinking about for Modern, and this is pretty much it. It is a bug control slash gifts deck that I got a chance to play in Nebraska for GP Hoth. If you're not sure, that was Lincoln, Nebraska. It got called Hoth because everybody was like, it looks like a frozen wasteland, and to be honest, it kind of did. We were a mile away from all life. No lie, the event site was a mile away from the closest place to eat. Good job, Wizards. Love you guys. I do actually love Wizards, but that place was not a good choice. The deck is a gift space deck, although there are only 2 gifts ungiven, and it held up pretty well. My mistakes there, I completely punted away one match where all I had to do was use my Slaughter Pact, and yeah, I forgot to use it until after he had Mana Leak up, and I only had 1 land up. So that was my own mistake. The other 2 matches that I lost to put me out of getting to day 2, I lost to Blood Moon, which was something that I had forgotten about, honestly. I kind of brewed this and then found out online. Differences between this and other lists right here. I can get this card to pop out. There we go. Lotus Cobra. Lotus Cobra is only used really as mana. It's not really meant to be the great swinger of tides and everything else that wins the world back for you. This is meant to allow you to, on turn 3, Thoughtseize them, Inquisition them, Raven's Crime them, keep Spell Piercer, Snare up, and Gifts. It happens a lot more than you'd think. And the first time that happened was against a blue-white player, and I just went and got immediately, he pathed it, so I fetched in response to the path because I had a Thoughtseize, and went and got basically the stuff to drain his hand and his lands, and just took out his Tron pieces over and over again while making him discard 2 every turn. Eventually you have to give up. It's just the way things work. The next time that I got a chance to use it was against Jund, and I ended up getting Lich, Primal Command, Shriekmaw, and Liliana, and just went to town on him. And when I say went to town, I mean I literally went to town on him. He didn't give me any of that. I ended up having the Eternal Witness in hand, otherwise it would have been in the place of Liliana. Witnessed back the Lich, shot one of his guys with Shriekmaw, played the Lich, and just proceeded to evoke Shriekmaw out of the graveyard until he realized that he was pretty much dead. The Finks are a new addition. You needed a little bit of life gain. I wanted to go over the deck, and now I've pretty much just started rambling about it. Mana base. This section of the mana base is not in stone. That's why I don't have all of these cards in the mana base yet. I haven't asked anybody that I know. I haven't really been too on it about getting this together, and I apologize. I wanted to go ahead and figure out how I was going to do this as far as setups for these and get Rock going first. So I'll keep up with the Rock and any other deck just to kind of keep up with them. These are the most important lands in the deck. These are the ones that are in stone. Academy Ruins gets you back this. It'll get you back this, but I mean really all that's doing is just recurring the graveyard, because if you're using it to draw a card, you're paying 5 mana to draw the card that you could just wait a turn to do. So just not worth that. Ghost Quarters are a lock against a lot of different decks. There aren't very many basics in some of these decks, and just the same as Legacy, you run them out of basics and you start going every turn, they will concede eventually. And next up we have a win condition. This actually won more games than I thought it would. There were maybe 7 or 8 games that this was just the singleton win condition after my opponent was like, oh well, I just realized I can't win. So that happens. Removal package, you have Slaughter Pact, 2 Disfigures, moving down, the 2 Shriekmaws, and Pulse. There we go. I guess you can count Profane Command. It does have a -X ability, and you can get that up pretty high up there. Reason you have all these different things is, and all of them are black, so if you ever get Iona'd on black, you're pretty much screwed. Sorry. That's just the way it's going to be for right now. When I was looking at the dailies that were going on, I didn't see too many things that were dropping Iona into play, so I feel okay in that sense. Slaughter Pact because sometimes, you know, you have the 3 mana, but you need to keep up a counter spell and they play something and you need to keep that counter spell up. Well, Slaughter Pact it. Slaughter Pact whatever they're playing, keep your counter spell up, deal with it the next turn. A lot of the problems that you would get out of a lot of different decks, they're not expecting Slaughter Pact. It also works great with Snapcaster Mage. As long as you don't use it twice in one turn, you should be okay. I mean, and if you do, you're probably going to be winning anyway. So, just odd thing to think about. Singleton Spell Snare, probably going to be changing this eventually. Didn't see a lot of things in the daily that I thought were very good. Well, take that back. Didn't see a lot of things in the daily that I thought Spell Snare was very good against. That's what I was intending to say. And again, this is just a random brew, so that's kind of where it sits. 2 Spell Pierce to deal with that, with other non-creature spells. 2 Remands and a Singleton Mana Leak. I'm going through the counter spell package if you haven't figured it out. Remands draw a card. That's the reason why there are 2 of those in 1 leak. I'd rather draw a card and count on the Raven's Crime than to just flat out counter spells and be wishing that I could continue drawing cards. Where are we at? That's it for counters. Discard package 2 Raven's Crime, or Singleton Raven's Crime, Thoughtseize in the main, Thoughtseize in the board, and Inquisition, as well as 3 Liliana, which I didn't count towards the discard pack or towards the removal package. 6 of these work just fine. Liliana works really well with Loam. Raven's Crime works really well with Loam. If you get your hand size down to 0, Liliana is just pure advantage. And Raven's Crime, like if you're getting back 3 lands per turn, and you're playing one of them and you're making them discard the other 2, that's still a great advantage. Eventually it comes to a point where, yes, the Raven's Crime is completely turned off. Like if their hand size is down to 0, getting back 3 lands and Raven's Criming them doesn't do anything, but that doesn't mean it's still not good to be able to keep those 3 lands up. Next turn they kept their spell. Raven's Crime you. What was it? Oh, well, that's fine. Moving on with life. So that's why that's there. Package here, the less than 1 artifacts. This one just simply was meant to have mainboard graveyard hate. This isn't Legacy, you don't need it as much, but some of the decks I did see were graveyard based, and I'd like to be able to deal with them right up front. Engineered explosives, obvious, just sweeper. So that's that. Moving into there is a Trinket Mage if you did miss it. Moving into the 2 drops, you have your Lotus Cobra, which I went over already. All of these except for Snapcaster I've gone over in Loam, but Loam is kind of self-explanatory. Snapcaster is just kind of a buyback. It gives you the ability to rebuy Primal Command, Profane Command. I'd prefer not to rebuy Primal Command, just because if I can witness it back, it's even better, because then I can probably do something ridiculous with it again, and I don't have to use it right then and there. If you're going to be getting something that high, you do have to have a Cobra out there. Moving forward, Trinket Mage for the package. Sphinx, this is more so your wall and your life gain. Primal Command does gain you 7 life. Batterskull does give you 5. Sphinx comes out when it's actually relevant. So shrinking themselves, not as good, but at the same time, like, you're not too worried about it. Eternal Witness, just kind of a fail-safe, get back whatever you need. You can gifts for packages that have Noxious Revival, Eternal Witness, and 2 things, and you're guaranteed to get those 2 things, basically. It takes a little bit of time. You'd rather have the Noxious Revival than the Eternal Witness, or you'd rather just be handed those 2 things. But, I mean, sometimes you don't get them, and beggars can't be choosers. Maelstrom Pulse is a catch-all removal spell. I forgot to go over that with the removal package. I know I announced it, I just forgot to go for it. Batterskull and Have and Go Lich. These are the 2 primary win conditions for the deck. Have and Go Lich allows you to reanimate out of either player's graveyard. That's one thing to remember. I've definitely pulled a Bob out of somebody's graveyard. When I first played with this, I had a checklist of accomplishments. I had an achievement list, and I made them. They were awesome. Next up, we have Batterskull, just recurring creature. You have ways to recur it. There's no RFG artifact being played right now, so between Academy Ruins and its own bounce, you have graveyard and play covered, and you should be able to beat them for 4 indefinitely, because you can't deck yourself unless this dies. You just put this back on top, or you put this back on top, and you play it and use it. Probably this one, it's cheaper. It's 4 mana instead of 5. And when I say mana, I mean land, a number of lands tapping, since there are no doubles. Primal Command. This card is going to get looked at, and looked at pretty hard, and people are going to make fun of it. Let me explain what this does. I used to play this in Legacy, and it does two things, and those two things are still true. Just one thing I love, and one thing you hate. Burn deck. I gain 7 life. You hate that. I go find a creature. I love that. I go get Eternal Witness, get it right back. Let's see. Aggro deck. I'll go get Havengold Lich, Shriek Maw. I'll go get Kitchen Finks. Suddenly it's like all these things. A control deck. I'll put that back on top of your library. I'll go do this. Graveyard based deck. I'll get rid of your graveyard. In fact, I'll put something on top of your library and then get rid of your graveyard. I'll go find a creature and get rid of your graveyard. Unfortunately, I didn't want to play Weathered Wretch. Otherwise, I'd have a creature that was graveyard based as well. Yeah, this one's not just green creature. It's just for a creature. Yes. Okay, sweet. For some reason I was getting ready to say, like, wait, I think I can't get that one, but I can. Profane Command, the second command in the deck, is meant to simply just win the game. You're getting stuff, you're reanimating your stuff, you're killing their stuff, you're giving your team evasion, or you're burning them out. And one of the strongest plays that you can actually do, because if your opponent doesn't actually scoop to you, basically killing them with Loam and Hand Disruption and Graveyard Disruption, or land mana-based Disruption. Yeah, I can talk. Oh, yeah. Then Profane Command should clean up and take care of whatever else needs be. Getting back Witness is interesting, and a couple other things as well, but, I mean, so be it. Onto the sideboard, we have an extra discard spell, 2 spell skites, because burn is a real problem. You are counting on Finks a lot, and you're counting on actually getting up to be able to Primal Command. If you can do it on turn 3, oh my god, congratulations, you are the luckiest person in the world. My advice, go get Finks. Either Finks or Eternal Witness. Because if you get Eternal Witness, chances are you can play it next turn, you'll be at 4 mana, and then the turn after that you can recast it, that's 14 life, 2 creatures. I'm hinting. And if they burn this out, you can reshuffle your graveyard into your library and get it back. Like, there are options there. And if it's post board, I mean, you have better options as far as creatures go. If you can cast Primal Command, you can gain another 4 life. Gain 11 life, put a 4/4 into play. Or go get a 4/4. Next turn, put it into play. Yeah, I can go for that. Spellskite. Oh, I was talking about burn. Void Slime is a hard counter. There are no real hard counters in this list if you check, except for this. This is a hard counter. It says it's just countered, but it's a very restricted hard counter. So instead of actually going, because I don't have as much blue as I would want in my mana base, I don't have cryptic commands here. These could be cryptic commands, in which case that would leave, like, if you had 3 lands and one of them was a fetch land and one of them was a blue land, you could just kind of fetch with a Cobra out and Cryptic Command and draw a card, which, by the way, Cryptic Command only reads do something, draw a card. Even if you're just tapping them out and bouncing a permanent, chances are you're really just drawing a card. Yeah, so I mean, it's there. The counter target activated or triggered ability, I don't know how relevant that's going to be. Malira combo was really big when I first put this deck together, and the Void Slimes, I countered like 3 people's persist counters, and they just raged on me. You'd be amazed at how many people raged against this. This is an annoying deck to play against. Baloth is there for aggro matchups, burn matchups where you just need a little bit more life. Really good against Liliana when your opponent has it in play. Graveyard package extended out. Went with a Tormod's Crypt over Grafdigger Cage. Grafdigger Cage does beat out Green Sun Zenith styled cards, because you can't Green Sun Zenith, so I'm thinking more so like Pod and Court of Calling, but I mean, so be it. We can deal with those when they come up, and a secondary Trinket Mage just in case you need to actually get to one of these a little bit faster. Losing my voice here. I've been talking for the past 5 hours, or take it back, 4 hours. The daily started, and I did that today. Now I'm recording these. Nature's Claims, these were originally 2 pulses, and they were pulses to get rid of Blood Moon. It turns out that, hey, look, Nature's Claim costs 1 green instead of black green, so it's a lot easier to cast this than it is that. I can drop any land into play with a Cobra, and I get a green. and then I can save the rest of my land. Smother is just additional removal. Most of the creatures that I've seen in this format cost 3 or less. Starting to shift from what I was paying attention to. I finally started looking at dailies again after right after I put this together, and I haven't changed anything. And it turns out that the Kiki Angel 3/4 standard Angel, really good. So yeah, this can't hit that, but so be it. We'll work on that problem when it comes up. Next up, we have Engineered Explosives and Curse of Death's Hold to kind of continue on with the sweepers. Curse is in the board. It's an interesting card. Like, if somebody's playing the Splinter Twin deck and it's the blue-red one, they can't beat this card. They have to bounce it, or they just literally cannot win. I don't think they have enough burn at all. And all of their creatures will be either 0/3s or dead. So it's just an interesting thought. I saw that when I was watching a Battle Blitz guy transmute his brain spoil into this so that he did not die the next turn. It was amusing. 8 mana. Let's do that instead of try and win the game and lose it. And his opponent just looked and was like, I don't have any bounce. I don't have a way to swing except for Kiki Chiki. He just shows him a hand like 12 removal spells, not literally 12. So, yep, this is the deck. I'm probably gonna make a couple tweaks to it, a couple adjustments. We'll see how it works out. Like, the way I look at this as far as like the base and everything, these are actually down here, so it's not as bad. These go over here with the lands. Like, it jumps up and then it turps back out. And the only reason this is out here is because it's that much. Like, it's probably in this range. Like, I have Heaven Golich. That's all I can get back at that range. And most of the creatures in Modern would probably die. So, yep. I'm going to get this together and try and run a couple dailies here. You'll probably see it, I want to say, within a month, but you know, if I keep 3-1 in these dailies instead of 4-0ing them, we'll see where it goes. Alright, I will talk to you all later. Hope you guys enjoy. Again, if you guys want to see this, let me know. If you don't want to see it at all, please let me know, because if you guys don't want to see it or see any intake of it, see any possibility of it, then that's that. And I will move on to a different format, honestly, because I did not find anything in Modern that I found amusing, and this was the closest thing that I could come up with. I do have a legacy version of this, which is where I actually had originally drawn the inspiration, where the Lotus Cobras are actually or explorations, and there's crucibles and whatnot, and it was a lot of fun. You're playing Intuition, but yeah, when we get there. Alright, I will talk to you all again later. Have a good one. Bye bye.